Good morning, children. Stay safely at home. So I am continuing with the topics from the light chapter. So we have, I hope you have received the clear concept of the optically denser medium and optically rarer medium, and how light travels in the optically denser medium and optically rarer medium. In optically denser medium, what happens to light? The light ray, it slows down, isn't it? And speed of light decreases in the optically denser medium, and when the refractive index is more, then the medium is considered as denser medium. Like that, if the light ray travels in a rarer medium, then the light ray speeds up, means the speed of the light increases in a rarer medium. And we also studied this one, that when the refractive index of a medium is less, then we consider that medium as a optically rarer medium. Alright. Now when diffraction of light takes place, then three cases may arise. Now first case is the normal incidence. From the English term only one can make out what it is. Normal incidence means light ray is falling perpendicularly on the interface. How the light ray is falling? Perpendicularly on the interface. So you see, in this case, angle of incidence is how much? 0. So according to the laws of refraction of light, what will be the angle of refraction? 0. So what will happen? The light ray will not bend from its path, means refraction will not take place. Is that clear? So for normal incidence, these two diagrams you must practice, and you must remember, for normal incidence, what is the angle of incidence? 0. What is the angle of refraction? That is also 0. Means light ray do not suffer refraction for normal incidence. Okay, this is the point you must note it down also. The light ray do not bend from its path for normal incidence, means do not suffer refraction. Alright, so this is the first case of the refraction of light. Now the second case is refraction of light from rarer to denser medium. Just you consider that light ray is moving from air to water. Okay, for air is the rarer medium. Why? Because refractive index of air is 1, whereas water is denser medium. Why water denser? Because refractive index of water is 1.33. Now how we will draw the diagram? You follow. Just you hold your scale in this way, that draw the incident light as well as extend it in the forward direction, holding the scale in the same position. So this is the incident light. So AB is the incident light. Now when a light ray moves from rarer to denser medium, the light ray bends towards the normal. So you see here, this is the original path of the light ray, but when it will enter into water, it will bend towards the normal. Okay, so here you write down the first point. It bends towards the normal. It means the light towards the normal. Alright, so as it is bending towards the normal, so you see, you can write angle I is greater than angle R. Okay, angle of incidence is greater than angle of refraction. And what is the angle of deviation? Angle of deviation is equal to I minus R. This is what? Angle of deviation. Already I taught you, angle of deviation means angle between the incident ray and the refracted ray. So you see, this is the incident ray and this is the refracted ray. So angle between the incident ray and refracted ray is known as the angle of deviation. So in this case, angle of deviation is how much? I minus R. Just you see, this one and this one, they are vertically opposite angle. So if I name the figure, suppose it is BC, then angle, let us name it as NM. So angle NBD equal to I, and NBC is R. So what will be this angle? It will be I minus R. So angle of deviation is equal to I minus R. And remember that angle of incidence is greater than angle of refraction as light ray bends towards the normal. Now the third one, that refraction of light from denser to rarer medium. Alright. Now consider this. Let us consider the first medium is glass. It is denser. Why? Mu of glass is 1.5. And the second medium, suppose it is water, because mu of water is 1.33, you see, less than glass. So it will be considered as rarer medium. Now in this case, how the light ray will move, just understand it. First of all, you draw the light ray like this, holding the scale, that this is the incident ray, and then without changing the position of the scale, you extend it. So you see, this is the incident ray. Alright, AB is the incident ray. Now when a light ray moves from denser to rarer medium, the light ray bends away from the normal. So you see here what is happening, that this is the angle of refraction. So if I name it like this, then NBC is the angle of refraction. So the first point you have to remember, the light bends away from the normal. What happens? Light bends away from the normal when it moves from denser to rarer medium. So look at the diagram. If you consider angle of incidence is I is less than angle of refraction. And what is the angle of deviation? Angle of deviation in this case, you can write it like this. Angle of deviation delta is R minus I. Okay, because R is bigger than I, and from the geometry of the diagram also one can make out what is the angle of deviation, R minus I. So these are the three cases you must learn and remember, because these are concept wise also, exam wise also very important. Good morning children. Stay safely at home and do all the study related work properly every day. Now I am starting the next topic of the light chapter, that is the real life examples of refraction. Now if you look at the stars, then you know that stars twinkle, okay, and you know that famous nursery rhymes also, okay. Now the question is, why the star twinkles? Okay, what is the reason of twinkling of stars? So try to understand it. Now if you consider a star here, alright, suppose this is a star. Now from the star, when light reaches the observer eye on Earth's surface, then due to atmospheric refraction, the light ray follow a bent path like this and it reaches observer's eye. Alright, now you see what is happening. You know that if you consider the atmosphere, the different layers of atmosphere, they have the different temperature as well as different density. Okay, not only that, due to flow of air, what happens, that temperature of any particular layer, that also changes with time. So as the temperature of the layer changes, density of the layer also changes. So what happens, if you consider the path of light, this path of light, it continuously changes. Alright, means first time it is following this path, then you see for the observer what he will do after receiving this light, just extend the light back, and for the observer, star will be here. Is that clear? Now you see what is happening. The path of the light, it is changing continuously. Okay, this is the way the path of the light changing continuously. So what is happening? The position of the star and the brightness of that star also changes continuously due to this fact that temperature as well as density of different layers of atmosphere changes continuously. Okay, so as a result, due to this continuous change in the position and brightness of the image of the star, twinkling effects comes or twinkling effect arises. Okay, so this is the way you can explain that why a star twinkles. So how to write the answer that why the stars twinkle, point wise I have written, and so you must also note down point wise, and that this diagram you must draw. Okay, so you see what should be the first point. When light rays from the star reach observer's eye, it follows a bent path due to atmospheric refraction. So I have underlined the keywords. Then due to flow of air and other causes, temperature and density of different air layers change continuously. Alright. Then as there is no space here, I have come to this place. So this is the third point. As a result, path of light rays also change continuously. Then fourth point, due to this, the position and brightness of image of star change continuously and gives rise to twinkling effect. Alright, so here this point, if you cannot understand, then verbally I am saying, so when you are watching the video, please listen to what I am saying. Then you don't have to message me that what is written there. Okay, it is written brightness of image of star change continuously and gives rise to twinkling effect. So this is the way point wise you can answer that why stars twinkle. Now the sun, next practical example of refraction is the sun is visible. I don't know whether you know it or don't know it. That sun is visible few minutes before sunrise or after sunset. Alright. So let us consider, I have drawn it to the west, this example, that sunset means what? This is the horizon and sun, if when it is going below the horizon, it means sunset. Alright, and sunrise means what? When the sun will come above the horizon, that is known as sunrise. Okay, so if you consider that just after sunset, so sun has just come below the horizon. Alright, now what will happen? Now you see from the sun, the light ray coming out, it will follow a bent path and reach observer's eye. Alright, but our eye cannot follow the bent path. So after receiving the this one light, what the observer will do? Observer will just see the image. Just a minute. Observer will see the image of the sun. So you have to draw the tangent to that point. So if you draw the tangent to the received light, this is the received light, tangent if you draw, then observer will see the sun, the image of the sun at this place S dash. So you see, actually sun is below the horizon, but where the observer is watching the sun, rather the image of the sun above the horizon. So already sun is set, but for the observer it will appear that as if sun is not yet set, rather it is above the horizon. Alright, so you must draw this diagram for this explanation and how to write point wise, that I am writing. Now how to explain point wise? You have to write like this, that just after sunset, sun is below the horizon. At this time, light rays from the sun follow a bent path as shown in the diagram. So you are referring it due to atmospheric refraction. As a result, the observer see the image of the sun above the horizon. then again you refer the diagram as shown in the diagram. Same thing happens during sunrise also. So this is another example of atmospheric refraction in our real life. Next is, if you, this one, although it is not given in your book, but this is there in your syllabus. Okay, so everyone should note it down and you should learn it also, because this is there in your syllabus given from sent from the council. So a pencil immersed in water appears to be bent and short. Instead of pencil, you can take a scale also, or you can take a straight rod also. Today only you can do the experiment at home, that you just take a straight rod or anything and you immerse in water obliquely, and then you from air you just watch the object will appears to be bent and short. Alright, so let us draw the diagram for it. So the diagram is most important in this case, so you please follow how I am drawing the diagram. Okay, so suppose you have taken a container, inside the container water is taken. Now so consider that the pencil, I am just representing it by a straight line. I am not drawing actually a pencil, I am just writing it. Suppose ABC is the pencil. ABC is the pencil, we are considering it. Alright, now how I am drawing the diagram, that is most important. So everyone please follow it. So here is the point C. Now you take a point. You see how I have taken from the point C, I have moved up and then little bit towards left side. I am shifting, then mark a point, let it be C dash, and then here you mark observer I, write down E. E is the observer I. Then you draw two inclined rays like this from C dash. When you are drawing the line, then take care that within water you are drawing the dotted line and above water you are drawing a solid line. Then from C dash you join the lower point of the observer I and you do the same, means you are give the arrows like this. Then you see these two rays meeting the upper surface of water at the 2 points. That 2 points you join it with C. Okay, please follow the instructions given. Then you give the arrows like this and here you draw two normals like this. Okay, so you see when light ray coming out from the point C, light ray coming out from the point C, then it is moving from denser to rarer medium. This is water and this is air. So it is moving from denser to rarer medium. So moving away from the normal and received by observer eye. Observer eye cannot follow this bent path. So what the observer eye will do? Simply extend the received light in the backward direction. So they are meeting at this point C dash. So C dash will be image of C. What will be C dash? C dash will be considered as image of C. Now you join B, the point B and C dash. Alright. So you see ABC is the original pencil, but ABC dash is the image of the pencil. Alright. Now in this case there is an advantage. If you can draw the diagram very nicely like this, then you can write down that why it happens. So why a pencil appears to be bent and short. You can write the answer this way. The pencil appears to be bent and short due to refraction of light from water to air. So this is important. Refraction of light and from water to air. Then within bracket you refer the diagram as shown in the diagram. Is that clear? So this is the simple way you can just inform the examiner that you know the interface X, why the pencil appears to be bent and short. So draw this diagram and write down the cause like this. And these are the key words. Do not forget to underline it. Okay. So this is the cause that why a body, a straight line or straight rod, anything you immerse in water, it appears to be bent and short. Next one is perception of depth. A pond or swimming pool appears to be shallow. If you look at a swimming pool or a pond, then when you are observing the bottom surface of the pool or the pond from air, it appears to be shallow. Means the real depth, okay, the depth you are observing, that will appear to be less than the real depth. Alright, so let us try to find out why it is happening. Suppose this is the pond. Now you see, if you take a point C here, how to draw the diagram, you just observe that from the point C, suppose you have taken a point C on the bottom of the pond or pool. Now you first you draw the diagram like this. You take again the point C dash this way. This is the way if you draw the diagram, it will be easy for you to draw the correct diagram. So please follow the instructions. The way I am drawing, try to draw in the same manner. Do not try to apply your own method. Now from the point C, you go straight up and little bit to the left side, mark another point C dash. Then you write the E, means E is the observer eye. Now you join C dash to the upper point of the observer eye, and when you are joining by a straight line within water, you draw dotted line, and above water you draw solid line. Then you do the same with the lower point of the eye drawn. I means the E here. Okay, so this is the way first you draw the two rays. Remember, these two should be straight line. Now you see these two straight line drawn, they are meeting the upper surface of water at 2 points. Then you join it with C. And then you give the arrows like this. From the point C, these are the two rays coming out. Then falling on the upper surface of water, draw two small normals. Then the rays will move away from the normal as the ray is moving from denser to rarer medium. Here it is water and here is air. Okay, and then you give the water symbol. Don't give too much here. Okay. And then you see what is happening. These are the two refracted ray observer eye is receiving. But as I mentioned it several times, our eye cannot follow this bent path. So our eye, what it will do, just it will extend the two rays received in the backward direction. And the two rays received in the two rays received by the observer eye when extended in the backward direction appear to meet at the point C dash. So C dash is the image of C. Alright. So you see, for the observer, this will be the layer of the bottom surface. Okay. So it is appear to be shallow. You see, this is the real depth, but to the observer, this is the depth. So, for the observer, the pond or swimming pool appears to be shallow. Alright. Now, for this kind of example, the important thing is that in the council also we can write like this. If you exactly draw the diagram, then you can write, it happens due to refraction of light from water to air as shown in the diagram. Means in the diagram you have shown everything. Alright, when you have shown, you are showing everything, it means it depends that if you cannot draw a correct diagram, then marks will be deducted. But if you draw a correct diagram and if you write down the cause like this and highlight the keywords refraction of light from water to air, then we will get the full marks. So this is the cause that why a pond or swimming pool appears to be shallow. Remember, in this light chapter, diagrams are the most important thing. So kindly learn how to draw the correct diagrams. Now if you keep a coin in a beaker, then which is filled with water, the coin will appears to be raised. The same reason, just you consider this diagram, that suppose we have placed a coin within the beaker and it is filled up with water, and this is the upper surface of water. Then you draw the diagram like this. In this case you take a ray falling perpendicularly, so how it will move? It will move straight. Then take another ray which is falling obliquely on the upper surface of water. Then you see here you draw a normal. So what will happen? The ray will bend away from the normal. So here when you will draw the refracted ray, at the same time without changing the position of this one scale, you draw the refracted ray, or means extend the refracted ray back. So let us consider that these two refracted rays, they are meeting at the point C dash. So C dash is the image of C. So if you consider the observer eye here, observer will observe the image of the coin not at the point C, rather at the point C dash. So if you name the figure like this, then you see AC is the real depth of the coin, alright, whereas AC dash is known as the apparent depth of the coin. Alright, so or you can write like this also, C is the coin and C dash is its image. Clear? Then why it is appears to be raised? Again the same reason, due to refraction of light from water to air. So you can write down the answer again in the same manner. It happens due to refraction of light rays from water to air. Then within bracket you refer to the diagram as shown in the diagram. Underline refraction of light rays from water to air. Okay, so you see that coin is actually at the point C, but the observer will observe the coin at the point C dash. And here you know there is a fantastic relation, you know, that refractive index of water, it will be equal to real depth by apparent depth. The next example of atmospheric refraction, refraction of light is that if you keep a ball, not only a ball, you can any object within water and you observe it from air, then you will see the object appears to be bigger in size. Alright, it will appear to you as if the object size is big, but actually it is small. Now why it happens? It also happens due to refraction of light from water to air. So this is another practical example of refraction of light in your life, that when a ball, or you can, instead of ball, you can, as I said, you can keep any object. if placed underwater in a beaker, it appears to be bigger in size. Why? Due to refraction of light from water to air. Then another one, it is difficult to aim or hit a target such as a fish underwater. Alright, or underwater if you keep any object and if you want to hit it, you want to target it, then it becomes very difficult. Why? Due to refraction of light, visual distortion occurs for the object kept inside the water. This is the reason. So these are all practical examples of the refraction of light in our life. The first two examples was the example of atmospheric refraction, and the last four examples are examples of refraction of light. Now here when the images are formed, then images, there are two types of images that may be formed. One is known as the real image, another is known as the virtual image. So first I am talking about the real image. If you stand in front of a concave mirror, alright, then concave mirror, that I will discuss later on what is concave mirror. Now then you will see concave mirror means the mirror is like this. This is a bend. This is a bend mirror, not like a plain mirror that generally we use in our day-to-day lives. So if you just stand in front of a concave mirror, then you will see the reflected light rays, they actually meet at a point and form the image. So that kind of image which is formed due to actual intersection of reflected light rays is called real image. Alright, now if you stand in front of a plain mirror, okay, plain mirror when you are standing, then the image you are getting, that is an example of the virtual mirror. You will see that if you stand in front of the plain mirror, then it will appear to you as if the image is formed behind the mirror. Now you go behind the mirror, you will see that nothing is there. Okay, so it means why it is happening like that? Because the image is virtual, just like the class I am now taking. It is a virtual class. Alright. Now you are seeing everything from the video, okay, but it is not a real class. Clear? So like that, when the images are formed by the plain mirror, then you can see the image, but it is appearing to you that as if the image is behind the mirror. You go behind the mirror, nothing is there. So that is virtual image. Alright. Now virtual image, how it is formed? It is formed when the diagrams I have drawn for the coin, the diagrams I have drawn for the star, these are all the virtual images. Virtual image formed when the light rays appear to meet at a point. Alright, they do not actually intersect at a point, but they appear to meet at a point when the received light rays are extended back. Okay, so what is the definition of the virtual image? The image formed by reflected light rays which appear to intersect but do not actually intersect is called a virtual image. Alright, now you have seen that when you stand in front of a plain mirror, that is a virtual image. Why? Because if you go behind the mirror, you cannot see the image. Alright, so virtual image, you will see that virtual image is always erect with respect to the object, and virtual image you cannot get on a screen. Okay, if you go behind the mirror, suppose the wall is there, wall of the room is there. So can you get your image on the wall of the room? No. It means what? Virtual image cannot be obtained on a screen. But in case of concave mirror, the image formed, if you place and screen at the place of the image, you can get the image on the screen. Alright, when you go to watch some movies, alright, that is always they are the real image, because that can be obtained on a screen. Clear? Another point is that real images are always inverted with respect to the object, but virtual images are always erect with respect to the object. So note down what are the differences between real images and virtual images. What are the differences between real image and virtual image? Real image, it is formed when two reflected light rays actually meet at a point. Virtual image is formed when reflected light rays appear to meet at a point. Then real images are always inverted with respect to the object. Virtual images are erect always with respect to the object. Real image can be obtained on the screen. Virtual images cannot be obtained on the screen. Real image is formed on the same side of the mirror as the object. Means when you are keeping the object in front of the mirror, real image will be formed in front of the mirror only. But virtual images always it is formed behind the mirror. So these are the 4 points of differences between real images and virtual images.